Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your review show slash podcast show. I'm your host Khalid Mohidin. This is the show where we talk about cricket and other things, amongst other things. Of course, as you know by the title of this particular YouTube channel, and forgive me for being a little bit down or feeling a little bit down. I wasn't. I don't know how to read this particular series. Um, from the get go, when the squad was announced, I had a feeling that okay, they were going to be testing a couple of new guys, trying to find those gaps in the squad that's been lacking, trying to find a team or trying to find that extra players that we are lacking. Obviously, Mpo has said it on many streams. I've said it on many streams. That Boucher was very clear with his team saying that he has about 12 of his names already penciled in of who he wants to take to the World Cup. And we're kind of just looking for those extra gaps to fill. Now, my concern over here particularly is that in the first game, we saw a little bit of a, like of a go and giving guys some experience for the likes of Jacques Snyman, for example. Rutus Opamla giving him another go in the T20 arena more often. And then second game, yes, we're giving more guys an opportunity, maybe Pite a better chance to bat up the order. Someone like John Smuts gets a go. And we see a debutanting Glenton Steerman. And I'm like, okay, I see where we're going with this. We're going to try and give guys opportunities, but also try to give the senior guys a chance to, stand out in the games. After the first game, I was very upset about the way we handled it. I particularly said that I would like to see David Miller step up and do his job that he's supposed to do for South Africa. He did that today. He batted alone in a team that was completely looked like they had no answers for a lot of things. We had good starts though. I would say Pite got a good start, etc. Very confused about certain things. For example, I really thought that Ryan Rickleton will get a go. I really thought that someone like Nandre Berger will get a go because I thought they will continue with the idea of giving guys opportunities. My understanding of this was that they were going to go with a team to try and win this because the pressure is mounting on South Africa to get some matches and get winnings under their belt. And I feel that Boucher tried to go ahead and win this. Now, before the whole test was cancelled with regards to Australia, Boucher was going to come back home and a whole new coaching staff with Malipongma, Maketa, Imran Khan, and all of those guys, and Enoch were going to run this T20 side. And we were most likely going to see a lot of new faces get an opportunity in this particular series. So when you go and put out a team that you believe can win this match, and then you lose the way you have, yes, it went down to the wire again, but then again, we're painting over the cracks again. Without David Miller's excellent performance, and I have to say it was an excellent performance that he put in over here. I even saw periods in the game where he actually rotated the strike and communicated with the tail ender, telling him, don't, just survive this last ball, let me face. I saw that from David today. But the rest of the team completely collapsed around. The rest of the batting line completely collapsed. With regards to the ball, we lacked that edge. Tabray Shamsi, once again, was excellent. We know he is definitely in that side, in that World Cup side. But I don't see where they're going with John Smuts. I'm not so sure where they're going with Pite van Biljon, because I feel that if they're looking for the number 6 batsman, then David Miller is clearly the answer. So then where are they going with Pite van Biljon? Because he's definitely not going to bat 3-4 for South Africa. There's no doubt in my mind that that's not going to happen. What are they doing with Heinrich Klaassen? Are they just going to tag him along on the tour, or are they going to believe that he's our number 4 batsman in the side? Or is he going to go and Boucher going to go in the last minute and try to get AB de Villiers back, which me and Paul both believe that's going to happen. So I don't understand what our view is. I don't understand where this team is going. I don't understand what we are trying to do as a South African lineup. I don't understand what Bouch is trying to do. Similarly, in the test arena, I don't know what he's doing there. I don't know what he's doing with the ODIs. I don't know what he's doing in the T20 team. Now, we can say, yes, we're trying to win the World Cup. Do we do that? Do this bunch of players strongly believe that they can win this World Cup? Is that what they strongly believe? Or are we going to go with something and build a team to new heights? Are we going to try and win it in a couple of years' time? Then have a clear vision of what we're going to get as a fan base, because I really do not know what is happening with the South African team. I take this loss more. I wouldn't have, if I was sitting over here and we had to see Ryan Rickelton get a shot and Jacques Snyman get another opportunity and Clayton Stearman and all of these guys get an opportunity, I wouldn't be sitting here with a bitter taste in my mouth, feeling like we've lost a massive, massive game. Because then I would be like, great, Snyman got some time in Pakistan. He understands a little bit more about subcontinent conditions. Ryan Rickerton, a future Protea player, got an opportunity to play in the subcontinent in Pakistan, in a place that he might never ever play in the future. We don't know when we're going to see a game in Pakistan once again. We would have been able to see Clayton Stearman in another opportunity. Give him a prolonged opportunity if you're going to give opportunities. One flash in the pan and then said, okay, cool, we're not going to give up with this guy. What's the point of taking him along? What's the point of putting him through this stress of being in a bio bubble for so long under that mental? It's mentally draining in that circumstances. We don't know what it is like whatsoever. And then you just give them one game, or you just give them no games. You say you want to build for the future, but then you're picking 34-year-olds, 35-year-olds, and then they're doing a job of what a youngster could do. And a youngster will learn more out of that experience than a guy that is 34, 35, that might never, ever see a South African game ever again. So it just baffles me on what we are trying to do with the squad. And I have to say that because I'm really confused about where South Africa is going and what is the future for us in this game. Guys, before I bring on the panel, smash that like button. Please subscribe to this channel. We need you guys' support. Please get involved with the Patreon as well. We are really trying to improve our content, give you guys exclusive content as well. And I want to hear from the panelists. I want to hear what you guys have to say. We have a super chat is available at the moment, so get involved with the super chat because I'm with my panel. We're quite a big panel, so I don't think I'm going to get through a lot of your questions. So if you want your questions to be answered, if you want your statements to be heard, please get involved with the super chat, please. Okay, guys, let's get the guys on the panel. We've got Mpo for you. We've got Ravi for you. We've got Aditya for you as well because he was in the press conference with Boucher. And I think I'm going to kick off with Aditya because I want to know what Boucher had to say in that press conference. We've got Abai and we've got cricket connoisseur Aaron. Why is he not coming? Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay, so let's start with you, Aditya. I want to get your views. I'm going to put you here on the top of the screen quickly. And then we'll swap you guys around again, put them in order of South Africans to who's better between guys. Let us know, UK or America. Who should we pick?
USA, USA.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Look, guys, let's just get all serious here because I know I gave a long, sounded like a eulogy, but I was just very. I'm not feeling good at the moment. I don't know what to think at the moment. I feel similarly. Okay, I'm not going to even know compare it to that. Aditya, let's start with you. I want to know what Boucher had to say and what type of difficult questions did the press ask. I hope they asked him difficult questions.
Well, to be fair, the press conference was cut short a little bit because they had to leave, and we actually didn't get that much time with Boucher. But essentially, Boucher was reasonably pleased with the way the boys had played, and they said that for periods of time through the series they played okay, but when the big moments came, it cost them dearly because they lost those big moments very badly. And the team had talked about it, and it was something that they had reflected on starting from the first game itself. But there were times, second game went to plan, but in both the first game and today's game, where they lost about 3 wickets in 3 overs. That really cost them. It's something that they've talked about. They acknowledge it, and they hope that they've learned lessons from this experience. The other question that was asked, the tough one, was about death bowling, because South Africa's death bowling has been a matter of concern through this series. So he said that the bowlers have been doing work through at training, and the plan of the management is to make sure that in addition to KG and Andrik, there are a bunch of other options that the team can rely on for death bowling. So he said they've been working on it, but they are aware of the stat that South Africa is among the top conceders of runs in death bowling, and they're working at it. But I think in addition to that, there wasn't really an opportunity for people to ask tough questions.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned about that death bowling really. I think that Lungi Ngidi, Kaiji Rabada, Andrik Nokia, they haven't played enough T20 cricket for us to be able to judge them for South Africa. I've seen them obviously play in IPLs, etc. They've been excellent in the death bowling department. I think with extended run with Shah Langeveld, they'll really get their death bowling in place. I'm more concerned about our batting, to be honest, because no matter what team we seem to pick, we always seem to find collapses. Doesn't matter. It's a mental thing. I feel that we struggle in this way. But I'm going to go with Pops first and get the ball rolling with you. How are you sitting? How are you feeling after this?
I'm here to protect Andile. That's all, because he didn't lose the game today. No. Yes, he bowled. He bowled a poor over. And for people who say that Andile shouldn't be in the side, he's the highest wicket taker in T20s for South Africa of the current active bunch. And I say active because Imran Tahir's got 61 wickets and Andile's got 38. And Imran, we know Imran will go to the World Cup. But of the quicks, the only other person with a better average is Lungi Ngidi, and his average is 17. Yes, we'll look at economy rates. They're all around the 8 and the 8. So that's the first one. We didn't lose the game because of Andile. We lost the game in those 3 to 4 overs where we lost. How many wickets did we lose? We lost 4 wickets from over 5 up until over 9. That is unacceptable from a batting perspective. These 3 pitches that we had are 180 run pitches that you can get if you bat first. You can score runs on those pitches. The problem was that we let ourselves down today, and David Miller pulled us out. He put us into a position where we could bowl at them. It was a defendable total, but with the dew and everything else, there was nothing else that could have happened. The only other critique that I'd have for Heino Klaasen, he was such a great captain, is he needed to bowl. He needed to give that loss. I know we don't like John, but John creates an opportunity for you to have, and he should never bat at 3. I don't think John should bat at 3. He should either bat at 6 or 7. And if he comes into the side, he comes in because he's a bowling he's a bowling all-rounder and is a better batsman than the other all-rounders, and he can bowl spin. I wanted one more over of John. We left it on the field. Had we gotten 1 extra over of spin, we probably would have been in a different situation in this game. Because today Bjorn Fortuin bowled out of his skin. Tabrez bowled out of his skin. John bowled much better than I mainly expected him to, and I wanted him to have another one. The quicks were going to struggle. They were going at 12s, 11s, and they were always going to struggle because of the nature of the pitch, of how it was with the dew. And that's the reason why I think we kind of lost it today. That mixture of when to bowl your quicks and when not to. We were always going to bowl our quicks in the death. We just needed to give them enough runs to be able to defend. Yes, you could say 20 in the last 2 is enough. Andile had a bad over, so that's what it was. But as you say, Khalid, I don't know what the plan is. I kind of felt that maybe if CSA said, here's the 15 that are going to play in the T20s. So here's the 15-man squad. And then here are the guys who are going to be either going for experience or being in the nets and on injury replacements. I'd feel a lot better with the fact that maybe Ryan Rickleton didn't play, maybe Ogutlekele didn't play. I know Glenton got an opportunity. Maybe he was supposed to be in the squad. But that's something that comes out of communication. Just like when India, I think Aditya can help me out here. When India went to Australia, Natarajan was a net bowler, So was Mohammed Siraj. Everybody knew what they were, and it just happened out that they were injuries and they were brought back into the squad. I think that role definement is so important, especially for the youngsters. I think even on the test side, we knew that Darren de Pavalon was going there to be a net bowler, but nobody actually ever said it. Or even Marco Jansen. Nobody ever actually said it. I'd rather them say it and say, because of the buyer bubble, these are the extra players we're taking, rather than just giving us some sort of a hope to say that maybe we're giving guys an opportunity. A guy like Okutlekele is sitting there on the sidelines. He went to Pakistan. He didn't get a game. I don't think he'll ever get a game again. Ryan Rickleton as well. I'm hurt because what I said on commentary today was, you know what? We're going to wait for the weekend. Everyone will see what Ryan Rickleton has on the weekend, because that is what we're going to show the world, what this Lions team has in store if Ryan is going to play. But I'm in between, because I kind of know we all know what 12 is going to the World Cup, and we also know what type of threes are, what the other three players that are going to go. It's just going to be dependent on what Mark Barcher wants. And if he thinks he's going to win the World Cup, we also need to figure out the way in which we play on these pitches. And today it was kind of very evident that maybe you need to have the ability to bowl 12 overs of spin in order for you to win the game. And that's a question of what quicks you're going to take and how people are going to bowl. The one guy who put his hand up is Dwayne Pretorius for that third seamer spot, because you're going to have to pick between Kagiso Lungi and Anrich in India, and you also need one seaming all-rounder option. So Dwayne put his hand up. The others, we'll see. I know Andile has the wickets and he's got the history, but from in a context of playing in India could be different. But today was just this series. The senior players didn't step up. I think Riza and Dwayne and Tabrez really stepped up with Dwayne, but the rest of them, you kind of felt as though, okay, guys, what's going on? But yeah, we're back to where we were. I think this series was just a series to help Pakistan generate cash, and that's how I see it. I don't think he's learned anything different coming back to South Africa.
That's my problem over here, and I'm gonna get really irritated with people that's going to blame the quota system for this, because that's gonna really pee me off, because that has nothing to do. It's not black players or colored players that lost us this particular game. So you can't bring that factor into it. In the test side, you said the similar things, but we blooded more people, white players in that field than players of color. We didn't blood a lot of people of color. So you want to talk about the quota system?
What was the split? We had a 7-4 split, which normally irritates me, but it's fine. Let's not talk about that. Let's go to Ravi. Ravi's got David Miller time, which is great.
Yeah. So I just want to get into something before that. So I just want to say that, yes, we're trying to build a World Cup team over here. So that's very important. So if you're going to do that, then you need to obviously get those guys to play as much cricket as possible in the short period. We're going to have to obviously see, maybe in Pakistan series here at home, you'll probably see around about who he feels is his best squad. This was always, for me, from my point of view, supposed to be a place for them to learn new things about this team and move forward. I don't think they learned anything. I think they learned what they always knew. The fact that Pite can do what he does, we knew that. The fact that Riza does what he did, we knew that too. I don't think there's a lot more that we learned. The fact that Muller can put on a performance like this sporadically, we know that too. It's not like my thing is I said a lot of things about David Muller, and I never once said that he must be dropped. I just want to make that very clear. I said that we want to see him do this more often, because we used to him doing this. Massive performances, coming out of the blocks, everybody's back with Muller time, and then he goes through a rut. I want to see what he does now in the local series over here. I want to see if it can carry the form over in the current season, in the current series that we play here in South Africa. So let's go to Ravi now. Ravi, I want to get your thoughts on this particular performance. How are you feeling right now after this 2-1 defeat?
Well, I'm grateful that Muller time finally kicked in when it did. We were waiting for it for some time. When I think about David Miller, I think about that guy sitting at the Las Vegas poker table with one chip, and somehow he managed to hit the jackpot, right? Miller, I know I've criticized him quite a bit. He's a sublime player on the field and certainly with the bat. And when he's on form and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, he's unstoppable. He's a Goliath. He's a juggernaut. And I don't see, and I'm with you on that, I don't see the side ever going to a World Cup without him until such time he decides to retire. Okay? He certainly showed what he's capable of there. He took ownership for his role today. I saw him talking with the tail enders, and for me, that's a David Miller I want to see. Right? Before, the David Miller that I would see quite regularly here in the South African environment is somebody that plays his shots, plays for himself, right? This David Miller was a different brand of David Miller. I like to see this more often. I made some criticizing comments about Andile, and I want to state for the record that I want Andile to play for the team. I love the fact that he's a T20 setup, but I've never been a fan of him being a death bowler. I've always been very conscious of him being a death bowler, starting from the time that the team went to England for the 50-over World Cup in 2019, right? That over against New Zealand made me think, should we give him the ball at that stage of the match? And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a confidence thing. I agree that due, and maybe Aditya can attest to this, but the due factor plays a significant role in that stage of the innings as well. The ball slips is quite slippery. So, I mean, we've got a lot of subcontinental viewers that are watching this. They can certainly confirm the same thing, but that's why these guys are bowling with a towel at their back. They have to wipe the ball from time to time. But the reality is this, I know we can go down a rabbit hole and say, call out all the negatives of the series and, who was selected, who wasn't selected, and why the seniors aren't stepping up. But I think there are lots of moments of merit. There's lots of positives we can certainly take home with us. For starters, Dwayne Pretorius, he's a guy that took a lot of flack when he was dropped from the test team. He's not a number 8. He can't bat. He can't bowl. And look what he does here. He changes bowling action. He dropped a bit of weight, and he did something beautiful yesterday, right? It didn't come off today, but I think there's some merit in Dwayne Pretorius. David Miller's innings today, on the field, he was sublime. He was a tiger on the field. He was brilliant, right? Pite van Biljon. I remember this distinctly, and I'm going to talk about this very quickly. A competing brand who I will not mention tonight wished this guy a happy birthday on Twitter, Pite van Biljon. They wished him a happy 34th birthday on Twitter, and they said he's got no shot of getting picked for the South African team at the age of 34. How genius is that, unnamed brand? But the thing is that for me, those small moments, like Pite answered his critics of the bat yesterday, and we don't talk enough about it. He's a guy that's been knocking on the door for a long time, and I think yesterday he showed how much promise he had. Riza and Janneman, I know a lot of people want to revert back to Quinton de Kock to open the batting. Fair point, but I saw magic happen when Riza and Janneman were batting. It's almost as though these guys have been batting together for a long time. It just seemed that they seemed to be the right place at the right time. Janneman especially. I think he's been somebody that's been overlooked to take that mantle for the long run. So I think there's plenty of positives we can take out of this. Lutho got the better of Baba Azam a couple of times. And I think that's something we can also take home. So I don't think it's doom and gloom. And obviously, the most obvious one for today, the spinners obviously brought us back in the game, especially Tabrez Shamsi, who's another guy I criticized.
World-class bowler, that.
World-class bowler. And there's no question in my mind that he deserves to go to the World Cup, especially after that. He had the shadow. He was under the shadow of Imran Tahir for such a long time as the understudy. And I think today he proved to everyone that he's capable of taking the full mantle all by himself. So lots of things to take back with us. It's not just doom and gloom, guys. And remember, there's a series in South Africa. We're going to have our vengeance soon enough in South Africa. Watch the space.
I don't think people realize how important the winning mentality is. Winning things consistently. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't even matter if it's a domestic South African competition. Winning things consistently gives you a different mindset on how to finish things off and how to win things. If you win anything, it gives you a different mindset. The Brace, for example, He's been under pressure situations now with the Titans. He's been under pressure situations now with his Mzansi Super League Paul Rocks team, and he's won trophies there, countless of trophies. He knows how to win now. He's getting to that stage where he's building that type of reputation, where he knows how to bowl in pressure situations. I remember the days when Tabrez used to bowl, and then you'd go for two massive six, like a full over of like 28 runs or something like that. He didn't murder completely, and he'll just lose the plot after a great start. I see a difference. He changes things up. His variations are brilliant. His accuracy is getting there. His fitness levels are up. Everything has changed with the Brace Amjad. I think he's so important to the side. Before we get to a bye, we got a super chat that I have to read out. And Dix had to say, he said, nothing against Andile, but he just gifted the series to Pakistan. He's too predictable. Every batsman knows he only gonna bowl slowers. Dewey's no excuse. David and Shamsi's brilliant efforts went in vain. Now I'm gonna just mention something about that. Andile Pechlekwai for a long time has been a very good bowler for South Africa. We can't deny that. In the white ball arena, he's been excellent. In the World Cup, he was good as well. He's been so good for South Africa for a long time. Many times we've been in a difficult situation with top-class bowlers on the field like Dale Steyn and Kagiso Rabada and all of those guys, and Andile has come out with a 4-4, or Andile came out with a 3-4. Andile's skill is in that middle overs. That's when he bowls the best. When he has a spin on the other end, when he's coming in on the other end and containing matches and then getting a quick wicket to change the game. That's Andile's skill and effort. He didn't have opportunity to be that guy on this tour because at the moment we weren't putting enough pressure with we didn't have pace bowlers first and foremost like Andile, Andrich and KG. They're not in the side. With that group, with Andile thrown in the middle, it's a perfect blend of players there that we have for a proper team. I can't see how you guys can just after one performance. Because when we talk about any other player that doesn't do well, then there's a whole crowd saying, oh, no, but it's only one performance. Andile did play poorly in that last over, and he didn't bat really well. It was weird for me that they put Dwayne Pretorius behind Andile in the batting order. I think Dwayne should come up first because he's the better batsman out of them. I'm going to go to you quickly, and then afterwards we can go straight into Cricket Connoisseur.
All right, so to all the South African fans and watching this, let me first reassure everyone and say this was quite a good effort overall over the course of the series, because we got to bear in mind that this team does not have most of our first choice players, and the two games that we lost were pretty close. Like there were points when we could have taken this game away, but if we look at this particular game, I think the batting was a bit of a letdown. I don't think it would be too fair to blame the bowlers, especially Pechlekwai. Yeah, he did have a bad last over, but then again, we had a competitive score, but it wasn't exactly a match-winning score, and all credit has to go to David Miller for setting that up. So I think, but then again, in hindsight, I was hoping maybe Ryan Rickleton would get a game, or possibly one out of Nandre Berger or Ele. Yeah. So all in all, I think positives. Yeah, when it comes to the positives, I feel we found a few good newcomers. But then again, going back to what Khalid said about recruiting the newcomers, if we look at Pait van Biljon, he's going to be 35 in a couple months. So, and plus, I can't say with 100% certainty that he is going to be part of the T20 World Cup squad. In fact, he's only gotten a few games, and I know I'm being a bit harsh, but he hasn't really done much of note to put himself in the running. But then again, I'm fully aware of what he's capable of, and I think maybe if he gets one more series, we'll see what he can do. But I think he's got his work cut out. But and going back to the balance, I think if we're gonna play John Smuts, he cannot bat it. I don't think he can bat at 3 because I think he brings more to the table with his left arm spin, and I think with Faf and Rassi back in the side, it's going to be very hard to fit Smuts in at the top of the order. He would have to bat in the middle order as a result of that. So I think it's So if I were to analyze, like, on the whole, I think it's a mixed bag of a series. Yes, things did go wrong, but more importantly, I think there's plenty to learn from going forward, and I think I think there's only going to be better times ahead. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. First, Mohammed Amin, I don't know what your issue is. Let us know what you want to think. If you want to, okay, I'm going to invite you on the show. Come talk to us. You have a lot to say in the stream and a lot of negative things to say in the stream. So come on the show.
Wait, Ravi,
and come talk to us.
You just said smuts out.
So, Ali, before we get to Aaron, because Aaron wants John John, I want to give something for John John. John John allows South Africa to play 3 seamers in the side, and also the ability for you to play 2 spinners. And because you might find a situation in India where your 3 seamers, like tonight, are nullified, where you can't do much. And John John gives you those overs. I'd say maybe look to George Linda. That could be an possibility to say maybe to him. But John John's batting ability at a 6 is also, we cannot discount that.
I'm not so sure if he's a good finisher.
Not necessarily as a good finisher, but sometimes you might need, like tonight, you might need someone who's going to stick around with David Miller and take it deep. Yes, he couldn't do it because he came in at 3, but John John can play the same role Pite van Biljon played, possibly coming in lower down the order. So I think that's the rationale behind Mark keeping John John in, because we will need that 3rd spinner somewhere along the line in that tournament.
Yeah, but we're picking too many players that do the same thing, man. We're picking way too many players that are doing exactly the same thing. They're not like, it's not like you can look at the squad and say, okay, cool, these are the bunch of finishers, these are the bunch of anchors. They pick 6, 7 anchors, guys that play in the top order that consistently for their franchise. I mean, for example, John John bats in the top order, Pite bats in the middle top order, Riza bats in the middle top order, Temba bats in the middle top order, Yanaman Malan bats in the top order, Rickleton bats in the middle top order. I'm giving you 7, 8 players that we've been trying in this particular squad.
Which is why a guy like Snyman, as you were saying, Khalid, maybe could bat at 6. Possibly because of the fact that he's a right arm off spinner. So you'll have Tahir as your leg spinner, Shamsi as your left arm wrist spinner, and then if you need but then I'm not sure about Snyman's bowling ability, because you need someone who can bowl 4 overs. Like today, John John.
You know what? What we do this with the youngsters. This is what peeves me off with the young players that we give an opportunity. We pick them, we put them in the most difficult position to perform, the most difficult possible way to perform. They throw them in the deep end. If they don't perform, they get chucked. When with guys like Pite or guys like John John, for example, have gotten a lot of opportunities even if they fail. So that's where I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing. Jacques Snyman got one particular game when everybody was struggling to read the flight of the ball. And he went out, yes, it was very embarrassing the way he got dismissed. But give him another opportunity in a place where he can succeed and get some momentum going. It's his first ever play game for South Africa. Why? And if you know that his strengths are against the seamers, why put him against players that you know they're going to play the spin early in the innings, and then give him the worst possible chance to succeed? And then if he doesn't succeed, then you throw him along, and then you say, okay, you're out of the team. But there's some allegiance happening over here to certain players that get long extended runs and others don't. I mean, I'm very upset about the way Heinrich Klaassen got dismissed in this particular series, throughout the series. His way he's been dismissals. Because in all his dismissals that I've seen from him in the past, in the ODIs as well, and in the T20s, he always hits it directly to a fielder. It's consistently. It's not like it's once or twice. Majority of his wickets are like that. And particularly today, choosing to play that shot at that particular time, it's a bad choice. My point of view is that we need to identify the core group of players that are your main 11 or your main 12 or 13. And then you decide whether you're going to give younger guys to succeed them, or you're going to just pick a whole big squad that you feel, okay, this is my best squad that I can possibly pick. Because my argument here is there are guys that performed at domestic level and Mzansi Super League level that are better, that performed better than John John, that have performed better than Pite, that have performed better than some of these older generational guys that are just waiting to get an opportunity, that have shown the quality of attacking brand of cricket that we are looking for, that are not getting opportunities. And that's confusing me. There's Marcus Ackerman, there's Vian Libber, there's Marco Mare, there's tons of younger guys that could have learned from this experience and maybe been that guy. We don't know. How do you know that guy's not going to have an opportunity and be great? Put him in that circumstances and he will succeed. Kyle Verreynne, another guy, tough mindset. There's so many guys that have tough mindsets that haven't had an opportunity. Now, I know that Pite batted really well in the MSL, and I think he batted really well here. And yes, because he's been a servant to South Africa, you want to give him an opportunity. But I don't want guys to just get opportunities because just for any sake. I want the manager or the coaches to actually say, look here, or the convener selectors to say, look here, this is our goal, this is our aim, this is where we're going in the future. If Pite doesn't get in that starting 11, then what is he doing in the squad? That's my point. Because I feel that a younger guy in the squad will learn more from the experience than not, but a Pite sitting on the bench carrying drinks. That's my point. If you're going to pick Pite in the starting 11 every single time, he was the first name on the team sheet. If you're 34 years old and you perform consistently and you pick him in the national setup, play him every game, because then that means that you trust, you back him, and he's the best that we have in the country to offer. Because then why else go for a more experienced player just because of form? Form goes up and down. You need to give guys opportunities as well that you believe that you're back for a long period of time. So I'm going to go back to Aaron now. Aaron, what you have to say about this particular game?
Well, first of all, before I talk about South Africa, just congratulations to Pakistan. Shabash to all of the Pakistani viewers out there. It was a fantastic series. I'm going to be honest. Obviously, I'm looking at it from a neutral perspective. Seeing Hassan Ali at the end absolutely clobbering the ball to all corners of the Gaddafi Stadium, it was absolutely beautiful to watch. And in addition to that as well, seeing the young, well, he's relatively young, Mahmood, the leg spinner, 3 for 40, had a fantastic national T20 Cup. He was absolutely brilliant today. I just felt like at times maybe did search for length, but I think he got off to a good start. Very, very promising signs for Pakistan in that regard. And in my opinion, they did deserve to win the series. Aditya mentioned it right at the start with regards to winning key moments, key battles within those games. And they did exactly that with a weakened side against a weakened South Africa side as well. So just before I mention the Proteas, well done to Pakistan. And yeah, deserving winners of this series in my view. Now, with regards to the Proteas themselves, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's the same old cracks appearing in this team time and time again. The batting wasn't there. At times, the seam bowling as well, very, very expensive, as we all know. And I just wanted to touch upon your point, Khalid, about the winning mentality. Because I looked back, and I just wanted to ask you guys, and of course the viewers out there as well, when was the last time that South Africa won a T20I series? Not a match, a series.
Sure.
Wait, I think it was the last home series we had before we went to India. So it may have been Sri Lanka.
It was Pakistan.
Or Pakistan.
It was Pakistan. 2-1, February 2019. You've gone 5 without getting a win. Yeah. So you obviously drew the one in India. Then you lost England, Australia, England again, 3-0.
Yep.
And then
all the same players also.
Nelson's call over that India draw. That India draw was
it was an excellent series, yeah. That was an excellent series. But with that being said, even if we do discount that, that's still 4 in a row where you haven't won.
And we've lost 10 of the last 14.
Exactly. So that is something which needs to be addressed. And this is a video game reference, but it's from a game called Far Cry. And it's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And I feel like at the moment, the Proteas are trapped in this vicious cycle. You've got comfortable players. You've mentioned the likes of, and I'm not going to say anything bad about Pite van Biljon because I like him. I've always respected him as a player.
I love him too. Right. Brilliant person as well. Like I've had many conversations with him. The guy is bloody awesome for this particular. I like him in the squad too because of what other things he adds as value to the rest of the squad.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, like, if you're going to pick him, then he must play in the World Cup. You must come out and say that he's your number 6 or he's your number 4 or he's your number 3. Like, if you're going to pick him.
I'd agree with that.
Sorry, Aaron.
But no, as I was mentioning with this vicious cycle, and again, I know I sound like a broken record, but it does come back to this complete lack of identity. They don't know where this team is heading because you can argue an eclectic mix of youth and experience. You've got the older heads, the likes of Faf du Plessis if de Villiers comes back, of course, and Quinton, he's getting on a bit. Temba, if he comes into the team, I know he's not too experienced in T20I cricket, but just on about cricket in general. So you can argue that, but there isn't really a foundation for the future. And this isn't just in T20 cricket. We mentioned it in Test cricket as well. And I just struggle to see where the Proteas are going. I struggle to see what the actual end goal of this current team is. And to be honest, it just feels like they're not going anywhere. They're just trapped in this cycle of competing, fighting, as Barlow said, but not getting across the line. So something does need to change in that regard, whether that is bringing in the young players, likes of Ryan Rickelton, who, as in Post said, I was looking forward to seeing in this series. I love watching that guy bat. He's a fantastic, young, explosive top-order batsman. And yet we were robbed of the chance to even see him get an opportunity in this series. So for me, I don't really know what to say, to be honest. What else with regards to South Africa? Will there be change? Who knows? Because we've been on about this. I mentioned this on a stream the other day with regards to the tests. When we first spoke in 2019, Boxing Day test match, I said the exact same things. So until things change, I don't really see anything going in terms of improvements. With that being said, though, as Abai said, as Ravi said as well, there are positives. Tabraiz Shamsi, what a spell of bowling that was tonight. Absolutely phenomenal. Just wanted to mention that first delivery to Hyder Ali, 7.1 degrees of turn. Oh, my goodness. I mean, I'm not a left-arm leg spinner. I'm an off spinner, so I could only dream of getting that much turn.
I'm a leg spinner. I could only dream of such things to left-handers.
Beautiful bowling from Tabraiz Shamsi. And again, I feel like he's really cemented his place. Reza Hendricks as well. I felt like he made a statement before this series. A lot of people were very critical about his strike rate, the role that he played within this team. I feel like he really stamped his authority on this team. Played some fantastic innings and ended up being South Africa's second leading run scorer behind David Miller. And of course, another guy who I have to give a tremendous shout out to is, of course, Miller Time himself. What a knock that was. Absolutely enthralling, scintillating stuff. I said it on Instagram. It was a devastating barrage of 4s and 6s. Woke us all up, really put South Africa back into this contest. And although we're not going to see that every single game, we can't expect it. David Miller, he saves it for a special occasion, just as tonight. My goodness, that boy can bat. And when he bats, the whole world watches. He is an absolutely exceptional power striker. I said it. Likes of de Grandon, likes of Glenn Maxwell. You watch these guys, you pay to watch them. And he came to the forefront tonight for the Proteas and at least got you to a competitive total. And just the final thing I want to say, I know I've gone on a bit, but with regards to Andile Pethulaquayo, I'm also not going to jump on the bandwagon. The only thing that I will say with regards to Pethulaquayo, and I said it with Hendricks, is that these guys do have bad games now and again. You can't expect perfection every single time. Just as the same with the batsmen. Batsmen get ducks. Batsmen get out with very terrible shots, really bad shots at times, as you mentioned there, Khalid, earlier, and we don't criticise them as heavily. So all I'll say with the likes of Pethulaquayo, with the likes of Hendricks, if Ngidi had some poor games against England as well in that series towards the back end, you can't just go in on them and say they don't deserve it because the stats back them. Andile Pethulaquayo has been a fantastic performer for the Proteas. He's got an average, I think a career average of about 22, 23. His batting hasn't been brilliant, but again, you've got to think of the situation. You actually have to be adaptable with those stats themselves. So, yeah, just in defence of Andile, that's all I have to say. And then with regards to the series, from a neutral perspective, absolutely brilliant viewing. Thoroughly enjoyed the entire tour, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's why in the opening statement I made a specific mention to the fact that I'm upset with not knowing what direction South Africa is going with, and that's a push, and that's a message to the selectors. That's a push to CSA. That's a push to Mark Boucher himself. What is the direction he wants to go with, and that's where.
If I may, guys, if I may just interject, what do you guys want to see from this T20 team? Because I mentioned this with regards to the Test team, and we mentioned about having that youth and experience. What do you guys actually think other than wins, Ravi? I know we all want wins. I want wins as well. We're not going to get one against India. I know Aditya is going to be the happier one out of us too after this test match. But what do you guys want in terms of a direction with this particular T20 squad? And that goes out to the viewers as well.
Can I jump on this one?
Yeah, you can go first.
Look, I think this series was an anomaly because they picked the side because they wanted to keep the A guys to go to prepare for Australia. So we have to bear that in mind. But in that, the question is, and what I want to see, Aaron, is a 4-year game plan to say that okay, so this is the type of T20 team we want to become. We don't play T20s a lot. That's fair. And whenever we go out to play T20s, there's something that we're working towards. So we have a World Cup coming up at the end of the year. The messaging around this one should have been, instead of no, we're trying to keep test players in South Africa and we're just bringing this team up, it should have been no, it's an opportunity for us to be able to see everyone else. And in that messaging, winning this test series becomes a secondary option, but still important, but it becomes more about giving people an opportunity and letting people go through the highs and lows of playing in Pakistan. So, for instance, there's a comment here that if you rotated all your openers in the series, everyone would have gotten 2 games. So, for instance, Ryan would have gotten 2, Rizzo would have gotten 2, Yanaman would have gotten 2. And so too with your bowlers. Maybe Ogutlekele might not have gotten an opportunity, but you still would have given enough guys. We would have seen enough guys to say, okay, maybe do we need to give guys an opportunity to come into South Africa? But what I'm seeing here is we're moving from series to series. And yes, we've got the mixture of youth and experience, but to a certain extent, over the past 5 years, all the experience has left the room. The only guys with experience that are left is Faf du Plessis because he was playing with the guys, and Dean Elgar because he came in that period when Jacques just retired and Amla just retired. But outside of that, everyone else is still trying to find their feet. Yes, Kagiso's the other experienced guy in the room on either side. And so where we need to get the experience from is from the coaching staff. But that doesn't seem to be coming because it seems to me like it's either the players are not listening. And it came across in Mark Boucher's thing today. He said, we bowled a lot of Yorkers today in the question that came up against the death bowlers. And he's like, no, we bowled a lot of Yorkers in practice. But then the question was, but then why didn't we try and bowl Yorkers today? Yes, maybe Andile thought otherwise. Yeah, we can talk about that. But when Sipamla came on in the 12th over and he got hit for 12, when Dwayne, before he got that final over, guys weren't bowling Yorkers. They were trying to bowl it short. They were trying to bowl cutters. They were trying to do other things when sometimes you do need to bowl Yorkers. So there's a disconnect between coaching and players. And that kind of tells me that we don't have a plan and the players don't understand their role in the plan. They went on an identity camp during lockdown, but nothing seems to have come out in terms of, for me, what we're seeing on the field is what was discussed in the dressing room, in the change room. And we're moving from series to series. And as long as we keep on moving from series to series, we will not be able to put things in context. And be able to say, okay, fine, we're going to try this for this series, we're going to try this for this series. It's just now becoming, and now this is where Mark's coaching has become, it's now he needs to win the next game. He's fighting to win the next game.
Okay, so I've got an awesome super chat here from Vernie Rasmus. And Aditya, I'm going to let you answer this one, okay? He wants to know, he said, why do you guys think Pichlekwai is being sent in ahead of Pretorius in every game? I mean, he has been used at 3 before. I think the Lions will have a headache picking a side this weekend, he also said. So I'm going to let the second one can go to Ravi, and the first one can go to Aditya, because we know what Impo said about this already.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Impo can do that second question justice, because I'm a Cobras fan through and through, unfortunately. This Lions team it's unbelievable. They've got a fantastic roster of talent when the approaches go away. And it's amazing what's going to happen now with these guys coming back. I don't know if KG is going to play tomorrow. I have no idea. Possibly. But I think that'll be the first time in a long time he's played for the guys. But I can only imagine when Bjorn, Dwayne Pretorius, I think Chris Smarless is further up north. I think he's in the But it's amazing. It's amazing. I think what's happening right now is we're literally seeing a seismic shift take place in the northern part of South Africa, where we've got the Titans is getting a powerhouse team with all the Colpacks coming, former Colpacks, I should say, coming back into the squad. And now you've got all the former Proteas, or the Proteas that were touring, rejoining the Lions team now. And it's gonna be cataclysmic event. Personally, I'm already calling it now. I think it's going to be coming down to those two, even though the Dolphins have home advantage. I
Those dolphin spinners. Oh my word, those dolphin spinners. Ravi, Luba tweeted a Lions 11. And the only position where the Lions have a bit of a headache is number 5. Because you can, if let's say the guys in Pakistan will play on over the weekend, it's Ryan at the top with Riza at 2, Temba 3, Rassi at 4. Whoever's going to be at 5 could be Wesley Marshall or could be Vian Mulder. And then you have Dwayne Pretorius at 6. And then it's Pangiso Bjorn as your 2 spinners, Kagiso, Luto, and Sisanda as your quicks.
I just want to see a battle between the Colbacks and the young guns of the Lions. I want to see that happen. I think everybody wants to see that happen worldwide. I just want to see that showdown. Showdown in Little Durban. We'll call it that.
Yeah. Aditya, can you just maybe answer that first question? Because I know that the Petluquire has been, a lot of people are saying obviously in the live chat, a lot of people are saying that he must be dropped. But just can you answer the first question? You're just on mute, bro.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of reasons here. One is that they want to have another left-hander in there. If you look at from the top, with Jan Milan, Reza Hendricks, and so on, they have Petluquire is probably the only left-hander, along with David Miller, who's coming in at 4. So I guess that is one reason. The other thing is perhaps the management has more faith in Pretorius as a finisher than Petluquire. Which is why they're sending him ahead, because Petluquire probably takes a few more balls to get set as opposed to Pretorius, who is the better batsman and can start launching straight away. So that to me is the only logical reason why they're preferring Petluquire out there. It's probably to protect him as opposed to expose him to a difficult situation towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, with regards to his bowling, I'm just going to ask Aditya quickly because he needs to go. He said his battery is quite low. Your assessment of Andile, because I mean, the last time Aditya spoke to me and we spoke about the last time when Aditya spoke to me, we spoke about Andile Petluquire maybe get an opportunity to be drafted maybe in the IPL, and one of the players that are maybe unlucky to be drafted in the IPL. But because there's so many great all-rounders all around the world, he maybe just loses out on that one a bit. And because of his age as well at the time as well. But Abai, I know you need to leave, so just give your parting words and your thoughts on Andile, please, if you can.
All right, so I'm gonna try and speak super fast here because my phone may die like any moment. So I think first of all I think we're at a consensus on Andile Petluquire. So he's quite a valuable bowler, and I think his batting can improve. I don't think he didn't have a good game today, but I think the IPL could do him some good. Going back to Pite van Biljon, I think the biggest disadvantage he's at is not only his age, but I think the bowling option too. If you compare him to, let's say, George Linda, Dwayne Pretorius, and so on, all these other guys offer a bowling option, and he is a specialist batsman who's been trusted as a finisher. And in this series, he batted at number 4. So the bar was set pretty high for him. I know my camera went out. It's anyway, but. Another thing I want to add is I really don't like it when the phrase transition phase is used as an excuse or as a smokescreen, because ideally you want to play to win every single game, and even when you lose, it's the thing that should be under question is how the players performed. So I think in hindsight maybe we could have won the series. But then again, I think there's much to appreciate, especially giving Pakistan a good run for their money with our second string squad. So and as far as going forward to prevent the vicious cycle, which Aaron mentioned earlier, I think I saw this was from Chris Chiwanza on Twitter. He said that if you're going to try to get out of a mess, you need to have a clearly defined plan, and you have to commit to that. You can't be wishy-washy about it. You can't no half measures at all. So you need to place your trust in a few folks. And there might be times when you just might want to throw the towel in, or you lose a lot of hope. But that's part and parcel of the game. And as fans, we have to learn to be patient, and we have to convince ourselves that yes, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And another thing is, like what Khalid mentioned about newcomers, is every time we see newcomers in the T20 squad or the test squad or whatever it may be, they're given the most difficult situation, and they're forced to adapt to it in such a short space of time. So it's kind of unfair. And part of this transitional phase process is figuring out where these young players fit in the team. They shouldn't have to wait until until one of the first choice guys get injured, so that creates an opening for them to finally get a game. Part of this process is figuring out how these newcomers are going to fit in, and I think it's starting with this series right here. I mean, we saw a number of new players get a chance, and I think if we were to think beyond the World T20, the focus will be on rebuilding, and I think I feel pretty optimistic as to where this is going to go. So thanks for having me on.
No problem. Thanks, Abhay. Okay, we've got another super chat, and this one is directed straight at Aaron. Aaron, any chance of Keaton Jennings making a return to the test squad? And what is the issue between Morgan and Alexander Hales?
Can I just say, first of all, Dex, shout out to Dex. Always offers some fantastic questions to myself as an England fan, so big up Dex. So with regards to the first question then, with regards to Keaton Jennings, in my opinion, potentially. And I feel like it's just in certain conditions. And those conditions are, of course, the subcontinent, where he has produced some excellent performances in the past, most notably in Sri Lanka in 2018, and, of course, in India in 2016 with that magnificent century in Mumbai. So in my opinion, there could be a slight opening. The only issue is about getting consistent performances in. Because for me, Dom Sibley is set. He is cemented. He's got an average of over 40. Looked a lot better against spin as well. You think he got 56 against Sri Lanka in the second test in Gaul, and then, of course, an 87 in the last game in Chennai. So for me, I feel like his opportunities will be limited. But if Rory Burns and Zach Crawley, for example, if those two are either injured or struggling to find some form, I feel like his fantastic ability to play spin will come into his hands, and he could get an opportunity in the subcontinent in Sri Lanka, India, for example. With regards to the second one, do you have 10 hours to go through the entire Hales-Morgan saga? Because it is a saga, and it's one which, to be honest, we as England fans just want to end. We either want to know if Hales is never going to have a chance again, or if they're going to allow him another chance. And in my opinion, I'm one who does forgive and forget. For me, he's too good a batsman to be stuck in limbo, to be stuck in a place where there's a chance you might get into the squad, Alex, but you've got to perform in the Big Bash. But he has performed in the Big Bash, and he's still not in an England squad. So go and perform in the T20 Blast. He has just done that, and yet he's still not even getting a sniff in an England shirt. So for me, it is very, very, not worrying, but it's quite confusing, to be honest, at the moment, that whole situation. We've still got no concrete answers.
Whose spot would he take?
Sorry,
in that T20 side. Whose spot would he take in that side?
I'm not saying he takes a spot, to be honest. I'm happy to go with Ryan Bairstow, but in the squad at the very least, even as just as a cover, because he's one of the
so you just want clarity around whether he's going to play or not, similar to what happened to KP.
Absolutely, yeah. We all remember what happened there. So yeah, but it might not happen for a long time, given the whole situation at the moment.
I mean, I've only met Alex Hales once or twice, I think it is. I interviewed him once when he was at Durban Heat. So what I liked about it was the way he helped the youngsters in the side when they came for him for advice. And I like that in a play. When I see a player taking time, you're an international player, you're a superstar, you obviously got picked and bought over here for a lot of money, and then you do your training session, you're done, you had a long training session, and then you still give your time extra to help younger players in the nets, throw balls down to them, give them advice, help them in certain areas. That I love to see from a player and from players. I'll give you another example. Is Imran Tahir. There was a. It's funny enough. It was at Newlands, and it's Nelson Mandela Bay Giants were playing, and it's not even his nets. It's obviously it's Cape Town Blitz's nets, and a young bowler was in the nets from Cape Town Blitz, and not necessarily from Western Province. He was one of the net bowlers, and he was bowling some spin, and Imran took his time. Okay, obviously he took his time out to teach this guy some things and a few tricks and helping them with a few tips. But then we did an hour exclusive interview, and this was now, and our interview went on for about 15 minutes. So this is after practice, after he had a full session in the nets already. And then he stayed behind further, and the team security came down to ask, where are you? We wait, the team buses wants to know if you're going to come with. He said, no, don't worry about it. I'll walk home. I still have a few things to do with these guys. They're not in, he had no obligation to teach these guys and help them out. Like, he just took out of his time. He said he'll walk home to the hotel rather. I know it's not a far walk from Newlands to the hotel where they were staying, but still to put in an extra hour or two after practice. It just shows what these guys mean to South African cricket and how important they are to South African cricket. Particularly pointing out what Ashwa told us in the week about having these guys back, Proteas players, non-playing Proteas players back in the setup, because this is where the youngsters learn the most. I'm looking around the dressing room and you're talking to guys like Imran Tahir and you're talking to guys like Dale Steyn. Vital. I mean, I remember Dale took a trip to Boland Park and Dale decided he wants to play for Northerns. And he by all means, he could have went for a surf or decided to leave and go for a surf, or he lives in Cape Town or go for supper or whatever, or meet up with some other guys. He stayed behind, even though the game was cancelled because of a wet outfield that they couldn't get clear. And he stayed in the dressing room, giving them advice, talking to them, getting the youngsters. And the youngsters were just surrounded around him in the dressing room. And I walked in there to look for him. They were literally like around and listening to him, and he was talking to them and telling them stories and giving them tips. That's what we want to see, man, in our setup, because that's the only way these guys are going to learn. So a guy like Hales is vital. If you can do that for South African youth, what will he do for English youth? I mean, okay, besides, I know he has problems off the field and stuff, but from a cricketing perspective, I mean, it's a really vital experience that they will learn from him. So, guys, I'm just going to give you an opportunity all to wrap it up. Let's have a final say from Aditya, Mpo, Ravi, and then Aaron.
Yeah, look, it's disappointing that South Africa won this series, and obviously everyone here has identified certain holes that South Africa needs to plug. Most importantly being the identity of the team and what direction that they're looking to take. With that said, there have been encouraging performances, but most important for me, if we're looking at this team at the World Cup, the exposure that they've got bowling with the wet ball is particularly important, and I hope that they continue working on it, because it's going to be an invaluable tool in India, where a lot of games, particularly T20, are decided on the basis of toss. And if you're batting second, if you're bowling second, then that's definitely going to be a massive deciding factor with respect to the result of the game. So I hope that they take these lessons seriously and they continue working on them, because if they do, as Boucher said, they have every chance to win.
Someone's looking for you.
No.
Aditya.
I don't know. Okay.
Your turn, bro.
Okay. Look, this series was what it was. I think it was disappointing that obviously we didn't get to win. I felt obviously the batting today just really let us down, but it's another story. But going forward, going to the Pakistan series, I'd like to see more clarity, more clarity in selection, more clarity in thinking. I think with I'm assuming less than 6 months to go to the World Cup, you should, as you say, he has his 12. Let's see it. It's time to start bringing out the big guns, bringing out those guys who we thought we've been giving a break. If you want to bring out Tahir, if you want to bring out AB, this possibly will be the series for them to get themselves acclimatized with the Proteas team. And this is the moment where either if he goes to the World Cup or he doesn't go, this is the moment where we need to have clarity so everyone else understands. I'm just sad that it's going to be on the Highveld because of the fact that I wanted it on flatter pitches, maybe PE, maybe Durban, so that we could use a two spinner. South Africa have a tendency of hiding behind their quicks, hiding behind Anrich, Lungi, and Kagiso. I don't want that to happen here. I want you to play two spinners. If it's Tahir and Thingy, they must play. If you need a third spinner, find him now. And also from a batting perspective, I think on commentary today I went through my 7 batsmen that I'd like to take to the World Cup, and so the 5 are set. Everybody knows what the 5 is, but those 2 spots are still open. In my perspective, I think Riza, Yanaman, Pite, even John, if you want to consider him, still open up for that grabs, or maybe someone else from left field might come in as the wild card pick. So that's going to be interesting. Also, we need to figure out who our 2 quicks are going to be to start the World Cup. You can't take Lungi, Kagiso, and Anrich all in one team. You need to pick 2. So you need to figure out who those guys are. So the next series needs to be a series where we fine tune everything, where we get answers as to who's going to start that first game in India, and not necessarily wondering about so-and-so, this young player, this is the last. I think for South Africa, for Mark Boucher, this is his final chance. These 5 T20s will be his final chance for him to figure out what his 11 looks like at the start of the World Cup.
Excellent points. Sorry, man. I'm laughing here. It's Bevan. He says those sound like wit farts. I don't know why fart jokes are still funny. I don't know. I'm 28 years old, 29 years old, and I'm still laughing at fart jokes. Let's go to excellent points from Paul there. I mean, even Werner said in the comment section of here, he believes that every once he's placed in the World Cup, he needs to put his hand up. And I think this Pakistan tour, South Africa, should be the time for him to do so. Like, he's had his time off now, I feel, with his the newborn child as well, and all of that. I think if he wants to play for South Africa, at least play one series before the World Cup to give the South Africa that clarity and feeling that we know we can back you now. You have an opportunity now. You want to be here. He doesn't have to play in every single series leading up to the World Cup, at least one, just to give his, to show us that, look here, I'm here to want to win the World Cup, and that's what I'm going to do for you guys. Okay, let's go to Ravi.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'll stick with my points from earlier that there were lots of positives we could take from this particular series. I went in there thinking, I didn't go to Pakistan itself, but I went with the expectation that we weren't going to come out on top because, I mean, it is Pakistan playing at home after all, and our veterans went there to play the guiding role or to do what it is that they do. But I have to say that there were so many guys that put their hands up, both young and old. I know we grilled Pite for shot selection today and a number of those things, but I really felt that people actually put their hands up. There are some young guns and some veterans that are hungry enough for a spot in the World Cup. And I think the veterans need to be very conscious of this. They literally are holding a number. It reminds you of that Standard Bank ad where, those kids are like, I'm coming for you, I'm coming for you. That's what's going through these guys' mind now. I mean, like Rassi, Faf, QDK, all of these guys are on notice. I mean, one thing I have to say, though, is that Heinrich Klaassen, his people are singing his praises as a captain. And I know it's very premature to say, you've only had 3 games and things like that, but the guy was calm. He was talking to his players. He looked like for every situation he had a plan, and that's exactly where captains come in. So I think that is some food for thought there for the selectors as well, for the manager of the CSA at least, because I really felt that while this team were without the services of De Kock, Rusty and Faf, they still performed relatively well. It was entertaining. 3 matches. The first one was down to the wire, literally less than 3 runs Pakistan won by. Second game, South Africa came back very strong. And this game as well, we were also against the ropes. People are forgetting that. We were against the ropes 63 for 6. 63 for 6. I was going to watch a Man United game after this. I mean, really. I mean, that's how bad it was. 63-6. I thought they were done. And look at what they did today. At the level of resilience, the style of leadership, that's the stuff that really stood out for me in the series. And I really hope that these guys carry it over when they return for the home leg. That's all for me.
Particularly about Klaassen, when he walked down, when Pretorius went for boundary, and then he walked down to, Aditya left. I wanted to ask him a super chat. Sorry, guys. He walked to the boundary. He went to the boundary, and then he walked up to him and spoke to him, had a few words with him, and then a couple of balls later, he got the wicket. So I think that I didn't see that enough from Quinton de Kock when things went wrong for players. And then he stops and he just walks up to the bowler and has a chat with him a little bit and then runs back behind the stumps. I don't see that enough from him, but in the future, I would like to see that more. Cricket courage, Alan, let's take it away with you if Aditya doesn't come back in.
Well, yeah, Ravi, first of all, I just wanted to say, with regards to your point, I think that was an excellent sum up, really. Although it wasn't the particular series result that South Africa wanted, players did put their hands up. I mentioned Reza, Pite as well. I thought he was fantastic in that second game. So that is a key element to take away. It's something positive which South Africa can take away from this series. I am going to keep this quite short, to be honest. Just wanted to say, already mentioned it, well done to Pakistan. Well done on completing the series. Win 2-1, thoroughly deserved, from my opinion. And yeah, cannot wait for the reverse tour, I suppose, in South Africa. And just before I go, boys, I haven't mentioned a certain player today, but I felt like I had to because 3 wickets for 47, producing absolute rockets yet again on a Chennai surface, which wasn't very seam conducive. Oliver Stone, take a bow. What a hero. And that is all from me.
Look at this guy. No, whoa. You're England are in a hole, and you're still talking about Ollie Stone.
Small victories, Empo. You have to take them sometimes. Simple as that. Little victories. Look, this is the thing. Okay, we talk about the future per se. Ollie Stone laying the foundations. No pun intended. But yeah, what a bowler. Has a good future, that lad. All I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I don't see James Anderson and Stuart Broad retiring anytime soon.
You watching the Ashes?
Leave those pebbles, man. I don't want to talk about pebbles. Look, I'm waiting for Aditya quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Look at Verner's last comment. It's absolutely 2-0. They won the World Series.
Yeah, well done, West Indies.
Well, did anyone see the call?
Down there, Ravi. Look here, I'm waiting, Dex. I'm just waiting for Aditya to answer this question for you. Then I'll read it out for you. Because I don't want your super chat to go to waste. So I'm just waiting for him to answer this. Let's see what he has to say. And then I'll read it out for you. Thanks a lot for the super chat. Let me get the question out there so long. I see Aditya's typing. So it might be a long one.
The anticipation. It's building. Getting excited for what?
Wait. Where's the
gonna
question?
Okay,
here we go.
Let's speak for my kid. All right.
Okay, see you, bro. AB's available.
Pleasure, Ravi.
Check your Ravi.
Bye-bye.
AB's availability is going to be a massive factor for SA's chances this year. World Cup, because it's going to be in India. We all know what happened with SA in the 2019 World Cup. Aditya, what are your thoughts? He said AB absolutely should be in the team for the T20 World Cup. He should bat at 3. And the management should define his role clearly for his and his team's sake. Now, that's a massive thing because that's what I want to know. They should make a statement before, and we don't want hearts to be broken just before a World Cup. And then they decide, oh, no, you guys, sorry, you're not going to be able to play. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that. And you out to the team. You've dedicated your time and effort over here, and then you're just out to the side because AB's back. I would hope that they will have a plan set and that they make the decision closer to the time. And a series maybe before the time, not like give him at least one series to have a go, to get some momentum before he goes to the World Cup. I hope that that's the case. So thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. Thanks a lot to everybody on the screen. Thank you, Mpo, for coming to watch the show. And you, Aaron, because I know Arsenal was playing.
They were conceding goals while you were talking.
Yeah.
And I was going through the most.
I could see you frown a little bit, and I wasn't sure what was going on. I just wanted to say thank you to both of you for coming on the show and dedicating yourselves to Cricket Fanatics Magazine constantly. Go follow them both, guys. Their Twitter handles are all on the screen. I don't know if it's your Twitter and your Instagram, or they're all the same.
Twitter and Instagram, yeah.
Cool.
Mine aren't,
Okay,
but I
cool.
don't really use Twitter, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't use Twitter. I know that because every time I want to tag him in, then I have to struggle to find your name because it has a 1 at the end and all this other stuff. But anyway, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Obviously, don't forget to smash that like button. We need your support, so please smash that like button and comment, share, subscribe, do all of those things. We want to get these videos trending and get more people to subscribe to the channel so we can grow it. Obviously, it's all about South African cricket, and we really want to take South Africa back to where we were, and we want to play our part as fans to have a say, because I think we have things to say. Maybe David heard my rant and maybe that helped him. Just joking. So perhaps I know Tabray Shamsi saw my tweet when I said he's world class, and look what the performance he put on today this week. So well done, Tabray. But we just want to have our say as fans, because there's not many places where we get to express our views. Don't forget to go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for updates. Don't forget to go to download the latest issue of the magazine, subscribe to the magazine. 100% free, every single issue. We put a lot of effort and time into this, guys, so just support us by subscribing. That's all we can ask for. We produce all this free content, and we really hope that you guys can support us by becoming patrons as well. The link is in the description, so that we can produce more content and more and exclusive content for you guys that are becoming patrons. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. I'm forgetting the days and times. Thanks, and happy Valentine's Day. I hope you guys have excellent nights with your ladies. Cheers.
Cheers.